Hi guys, Terry David here, right? In this video, I'm going to be going through the solutions to the January 2024 CSEC Maths paper 2, right? So question 1, they said express as a single fraction in its simplest form, right? Now, let's see how we're going to do this. So this is worth 2 marks here. We can use our calculator to do this if we want to, right? Or we can actually try to work it out. So in this case here, I have 1 over 30 and I have 4 over 15. So in the case of 1 over 30, if I were to work out the brackets first, 1 over 30 plus, now 4 over 15, right? The equivalent fraction for this is going to be 8 over 30, right? So this here is going to give me 9 over 30. So that is what the bracket is going to give me here. So when I work this out, this is going to be 1 minus 9 over 30, right? So 1, right? Since we are dealing with the 30th as a fraction here, we can write this as 30 over 30 minus 9 over 30, and we're going to get 21 over 30. This could be reduced, so this is going to be 7 over 10, right? All right, so that's the answer for part A. Part B, we have a 2-story car park, has a total of 1,020 parking spaces at 6:30, right? That's in the morning. 1/30 of the 1020 spaces are filled. During the next hour, no cars left the car park, but another 4/15 of the 1020 spaces are filled. Determine the number of parking spaces that are not filled at 7:30. Right, so in the second part here, right, so at 6:30, 1/30 of the spaces are filled, right? No cars leave the car park, but another 4/15 of that same 1020 are filled. Determine the number of parking spaces that are not filled at 7:30. Now, essentially what's happening here is this. We have 1 over 30. That's how much we would have filled initially, right? Then you would have filled 4 over 15, right? So that is what is filled in terms of a fraction, right? But the question says the number of parking spaces not filled. So therefore, what we have to do is to find the fraction that is actually not filled is going to be this, right? Now, if you go back to the previous part of the question here, you realize, wait a minute, that's exactly what we just worked out. So when I work this out here, I'm going to get 7 over 10, right? This is 7 over 10. So that is how much is not filled. So in terms of spaces, it's going to be 7 over 10 multiplied by 1020, right? And when I work this out, I'm going to get, right, 714, right? So this is how many spaces that are not filled at 7:30. Of the 1020 parking spaces, 20% are on the top level. How many parking spaces on the top level? Well, all we need to do is to find 20%, right, of 1020. All right, so in this case, it's going to be 20 over 100 multiplied by 1020, and that's going to give us 204, right? This is going to give me 204. So that's part C. The next part here, some of the spaces are reserved for monthly paying customers. The ratio of reserved to non-reserved is 5:7. So reserved to non-reserved is in a ratio of 5:7, right? Now, what we want to calculate is the number of non-reserved. Now, remember the total number of spaces that we have is 1020. let's go back here. Yeah, 1020, right? 1020. So if you want to work out for number of non-reserved, now since we have the ratio is 5 to 7, the total number of parts here is going to be 12. 7 plus 5, that's 12. So all we need to do is to find 7 over 12 multiplied by 1020, right? And that's going to give me the number of non-reserved parking spaces. So that's 7 over 12 multiplied by 1020. So that's 595, right? That's 595. That's it. Let's see what else we have here now. So the cost for parking at the car park is shown in this table here. So if it's under 30 minutes, it's free. Between 30 and 2 hours. So they have a chart here that shows us how we're going to be charged for parking, right? Michaela leaves the car park at 18:30 and pays $9.25. Determine the earliest time she could have arrived at the car park. So in this case here, we know the time that she's left the car park, right? That's 18:30 hours, right? So that's the time she left the car park. Now, the thing is, they told us that she pays $9.25. That's the amount that she's paying, which means that she stayed, the time interval for which she stayed, right? So the duration that she's there for is between, so it's more than 4 hours, but up to 8 hours, right? So that's less than or equal to 8 hours here. Now they said, if you notice here, they said, what is the earliest time she could have arrived? Now if she stays 4 hours, she pays $9.25. If she stays 8 hours, she still pays $9.25. So what we're gonna do, since you know this is the end time, right? And you want to figure out the earliest time she would have arrived at the car park, all we need to do is to subtract. In this case here, we're going to subtract, now it's less than or equal to 8, right? So therefore we could, going to subtract 8 here in this case here, right? So we're subtracting 8 hours. So therefore the earliest time that she could have been there is 10:30, right? That's the earliest time she could have been there. I know some students might be tempted to put 4 hours, but if you put 4 hours, that is not going to give us the earliest time that she's in the car park, right? So for this one here, I would put 10:30, right? Danraj bought a weekly ticket costing $40, right? That week he visited the car park 5 different times. The length of duration, okay, so he's in the car park these amount of times, right? So he's there for 25 minutes. So if he's there for 25 minutes, it means that this one is free. So there's no money associated with this one. 7.5 hours. Where is 7.5 hours? That's $9.25. So this amount here will be $9.25, right? For 11 hours, so more than 8 hours, so that's $15, right? So all I'm doing here, I'm looking at the chart and trying to figure out how much he has to pay. The next one is 8 3/4 hours, so that's $15 again. Right, and then the last one is 8 hours, which is $9.25. Right, so this here represents the total amount of money he would have spent. Now we want to show that he's saving $8.50 if he buys a weekly ticket. Now a weekly ticket costs $40, right? Now if he were to go this route and pay every single time he went to the car park, we're going to add this up. So we're going to say $9.25 plus $15 plus the next $15 plus $9.25, and you're going to get $48.50, right? So obviously he's paying more when he pays per day, right? So therefore we have to do the subtraction like this. So it's going to be, this is the total amount he actually paid. So that's $48.50. And you're going to subtract $40 from this, because that's the weekly pass, right? And when you subtract this, you're going to realize he could have saved $8.50, which is what the question said to prove anyway, right? So 3 marks for working this out, right? That takes care of question 1. Question 2, we want to simplify this. So we have x squared plus 7x all over x squared minus 49. So on top, we're going to use the HCF method to factorize this. So we can factor out x. This is going to be x plus 7. And then at the bottom here, or the denominator, we have a difference of 2 squares. X squared minus 49 is the difference of 2 squares. So this is going to be x plus 7, x minus 7. So therefore, something is going to cancel here. So this will cancel with this, and we're going to just end up with x over x minus 7, right? So that's how we're going to simplify that. Part B, right, we have some indices here. We have x squared multiplied by x to the power 6 is equal to x to the power r, right? So all we're going to do here, we're going to use our rule for indices. So since you're multiplying and you have the same base, you're going to add the indices. So that's 2 plus 6. This is going to give you 8. So therefore, x to the r is equal to x to the 8. So therefore, r is equal to 8. This next one here, we have s cube is equal to 8, right? Now, 8 could be written as 2 cube, right? 8 could be written as 2 cube. So therefore, what that means is that s is actually equal to 2. 1 mark for that. Part C. Right, that was part B. Right, this is part C. So the diagram shows a triangle and a quadrilateral. All the angles are in degrees and are written as in terms of A and or B. So for the triangle, we want to show this. So in a triangle, we know that when you add up the angles, you should get 180 degrees. So therefore, when you add this angle plus this angle plus this angle, I should get 180. So I'm going to use that to prove this. So this is going to be A plus 2B, right, plus A plus 9 plus 3B. Right, and all of that should add up to give me 180. Now let's add all the A's together. So A plus A, you're going to get 2A. All the B's here, we're going to get 5B. So this is 5B. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all the numbers on the right hand side. So this is going to be 180 minus 9. So therefore 2A plus 5B is equal to 171. So that is it. That is what we had to prove, and 1 mark for that. And for the quadrilateral, we need to prove this. So in this case here, if I add up the angles in a quadrilateral, I should get 360 degrees. So we're going to add up all of this, and we're going to put that equal to 360. So that's going to be 6A. That's the first angle here. 3A plus 2B. A plus 2B plus 3A minus 3B minus 2A plus 18 plus 3B. And you're going to put that equal to 360. Right? Now, let's bring all our A's together. So in terms of A's, we have this, we have this, we have this. So that's 6 and 3, 9. 9 take away 2, that's going to give me 7A. Then in terms of B's, we have this, this, and this. So 3A plus 2B is 5B. 5B plus 3B, you're going to get 8B. So this is 8B. And we're going to push all the numbers on the right hand side. So this is going to be 360 minus, what do I need to minus here? 18. right? So 7a plus 8b. So this is 360 minus 18, and you're going to get 342. Right? Which is exactly what they wanted us to prove, so we're good to go. All right, now we want to solve the pair of simultaneous equations. So let's back up a little bit. 2a plus 5b is 171. Sorry, 171. Right, that's one equation, and the second equation was 7a plus 8b. Is equal to, what it was, 342? Yeah, 342. Right? So in a question like this, right, you can either do substitution or you can use elimination. It's up to you, right? What I would do in this case here, let's say I wanted to eliminate a, then what I will do, so let's label our equation. So this is equation 1. Right, let's label this one equation 2. Right, and what we're going to do, we're going to take equation 1 and I'm going to multiply it by 7. Right, the reason why I'm multiplying it by 7 is because I want to eliminate a in this case. You could decide to eliminate b if you want, but I'm going to eliminate a. So if I multiply the first equation by 7, this is going to be 14a plus 35b is equal to 171 by 7. That's 1197. Right? And let's call that my third equation. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take equation 2. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to multiply that by 2. So 7 by 2, this is going to give me 14a plus 8 by 2 is 16b. Is equal to 684, right? And that's equation 4. So now, if I want to eliminate a, all I need to do, right, is to subtract these two equations here, right? That's all I need to do. So 14a minus 14a, you're going to get 0. 35 minus 16, you're going to get 19. So this is going to be 19b is equal to, so what I'm doing here, I'm taking my third equation. So that's equation 3 minus equation 4. So 1197 minus 684, and you're going to get 513. Right? So therefore, if I want to get b is going to be 513 over 19. So therefore, b is equal to 27 degrees. Right? So this here is 27 degrees. So that's angle B. And if you want to get angle A, we could substitute that into any one of the equations. So let's say I'm going to substitute B is equal to 27, right, into equation 1. Right? So this is going to be 2A plus 5 by 27 is equal to 171. Right? So 5 by 27 is 135. So therefore 2a plus 135 is equal to 171. So therefore 2a is equal to 171 minus 135. That's 36. So 2a is equal to 36. So a is equal to 36 over 2, which is 18 degrees. Right? So b is 27 degrees and a is 18 degrees. Right? So guys, if you're enjoying my work, please hit like and subscribe. Right? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. My online exam preparation for June 2024 is in progress, and that is for CSEC Maths, Add Maths, Chemistry, and Physics, right? Okay, so this is the third question here now. Now, in this question here, I'm just going to show you the demonstration, right? Because my length AB may not be what it was in the actual exam paper, right? So what they want us to do, they said we have a triangle ABC. AC is 8 centimeters, BC is 5. And using a ruler and compasses only, construct triangle ABC. And they have a line drawn for us here already. So I just have a line here, which may not have been the exact line they gave them in the exam, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to draw line AC, right? So you need to take your compass. And basically we're going to open this compass here so that it reaches a length of 8 centimeters, right? So that's 8 centimeters there. So shift this a little bit. So what we do, we're going to put our compass at this point here, and what you're going to do, you're going to draw an arc, right? So I'm going to just draw an arc here. So anywhere from the point A along this arc is going to be 8 centimeters, right? The next thing we're going to do now, right? The next thing that we're going to do is to draw another arc from the point B, right? So that the length right. So the next length that we're going to work out here is 5 centimeters. So you're going to open your compass so that it is at a length of 5 cm, right? So that's 5 cm here. And then what you're going to do, you're going to come to the point B here, and what we're going to do, we're going to draw an arc, right? But all right, just now, this is going to be a little too small. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to draw over that the other arc. Right, so let me draw over that arc from the point E. All right. So this one here, we're going to open this to 8 cm. Right, so that's 8 cm here. So what we're going to do, we're going to draw an arc. Here, right? Then we're going to take our ruler, right? And we're going to draw this line. Right? Right, so what I've done here, I have constructed a triangle, right? I've constructed a triangle, and this point here, right? This point here has to be the point C, right? So this is the point C here. Now, the next thing that they want us to do in this exam question, right? Let's see. Apart from the construction, they wanted us to do something. Measure and state the angle BAC. Right, they want us to measure the angle BAC. So let's go back here, right? So that is this angle here they want here, right? So if you want to measure that angle, let's get rid of some of these things here. Don't need this anymore, but I do need a protractor, right? So let's put this protractor here, right? And what we're going to do, we're going to measure that angle BAC, right? Now, if I were to measure that angle here, right? In my case here, I'm getting about 83.4, right? But this is gonna be different to what you got in the exam. Because like I said, my length AB here might be different from what you would have used in the exam, right? So just keep that in mind. Right, part B now. What do we have to do in part B here? So the diagram shows an equilateral triangle. So we have a side which is 13 cm. We want to find the length of each. So if it's an equilateral, it means that this is 13 cm. It also means that this here is 13 cm, right? And if you want to get that height there, right, this point here has to be the midpoint of FG, right? That point has to be the midpoint of FG. So basically what we have here is a triangle that looks like this. Right, so this is your H here, this is G, this is the midpoint of the line FG, so therefore this angle is 90 degrees. So this is your height, and this is going to be 13, right? And if that is a midpoint here, right, this is going to be a length of 6.5. So now if you want to find that length H, because it's a right angle triangle, we can say that H squared plus 6.5 squared is equal to 13 squared. So therefore H squared is equal to 13 squared minus 6.5 squared. Right? So therefore H is equal to the square root of 13 squared minus 6.5 squared. So what we're using here, we're using Pythagoras' theorem, right? Because it's a right angle triangle. So 13 squared will be 169, right? Minus 6.5 squared, and you're finding the square root of that. So you're going to get about 11 point, maybe 3 cm, right? So that's the length, or that's the height each. Part C now, what we have here? We have 3 triangles, PQ and R, right? Triangles Q and R are images of P. So what I'm trying to identify here is what is my object. So the object in this case here is P, right? And Q and R are transformations of that object P. Let's see what we have to do here. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle P onto R. So let's see, P onto R. So if you look at R here, right, R, right, the orientation of P and R is exactly the same, right? If you look at the lengths of P and the lengths of R, they are also identical. So therefore, if I look at this carefully, it is clearly a translation, right? It's a translation. Now, what's happening here is that the this triangle here is moving in that direction. So if you want to figure out what the vector is, right, it's going to move. Let's say we choose this point here. It's going to move 2 units to the right. So therefore, the translation vector is going to start off with a positive 2. And then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So you're moving up 4. So therefore, the translation vector is 4. So here's what you have to see here in order to get that marks. So you're going to see it's a translation, right, by a vector, right? And the vector we said here is 2, 4. So you need to see this in order to get our mark, yeah? Right? So that's it. Translation by this vector here. The next one is R onto Q. So let's look at R onto Q. Right? So R onto Q. So this time you are concerned about R, which is this one here, and this is Q. If you look carefully, you're going to realize, wait a minute, it seems to be a reflection, right? Now, once you have to indicate if it's a reflection or not, what you're going to have to do is to state what the mirror line is. So this here looks like my mirror line. This vertical line here is my mirror line. And that mirror line has an equation given by x is equal to 1. So here's what you need to say here. You're going to say, so it's Q onto R, or R onto Q. So it's a reflection in the line x is equal to 1. That's what it is. The reflection in the line x is equal to 1. Right? So this is question 4. We have two functions here, right? F of x is 2 minus 5x. H of x is 5 to the power x. What we want to calculate, we want to first calculate f of 4. So f of x is equal to 2 minus 5x. And we want to work out f of 4. So we're going to just substitute. So this is going to be 2 minus 5 by 4. Right? So this here is going to be 2 minus 20. So 2 minus 20 is going to give you minus 18. Right? So 1 mark for working that out. Next thing we want h of 0. So h of x is equal to 5 to the power x. So if you want h of 0, you're going to just substitute 0 into this. So this is going to be 5 to the power 0, which is 1. So anything raised to the power 0 is going to give me 1. And then we have a composite function here now. We have f h of minus 2, right? Now, in terms of what we're doing here, right, because it's a composite function, what you will do is to find h of minus 2 first, and then you're going to plug that into f. So let me work out h of minus 2. So h of x is 5 to the power x, right? So therefore h of minus 2 is equal to 5 to the power minus 2, right? Now, what is 5 to the power minus 2? That's the same as saying 1 over 5 squared. So this is 1 over 25, right? So that is what h of minus 2 is. Now, you're going to take that answer and you're going to plug that into the function f. So f of x, what is f of x again? F of x is 2 minus 5x. Right? So what we do in here, we're going to find f of 1 over 25. So this is going to be 2 minus 5 by 1 over 25. So this is going to be 2 minus 5 by 1 over 25 is actually 1/5, right? So therefore, what should we give our answer as? So we can give our answer as 1 4/5, or you can say 9 over 5, right? So any one of them will work, that's fine, right? So the answer for the composite function is going to be 9 over 5. Next thing we want to do here, we want to find the inverse of that function f. So f of x is equal to 2 minus 5x, right? So the first step in this process to find the inverse, we're going to let y equal to 2 minus 5x, right? Next thing we're going to do, we're going to interchange x and y. So x is going to be 2 minus 5y. And the next step in the process is to make y the subject of the formula. So this is going to be 5y is equal to 2 minus x. So therefore y is equal to 2 minus x all over 5. So therefore the inverse function is going to be 2 minus x over 5. Right? That's what it is. And the next part here now, we want to find f of f. Again, that's a composite function. So f of x is 2 minus 5x. Right? Now, I'm going to write it twice here so you'll understand what we're really doing here. Right? So what we're really doing here, when you're asked to find f of x, right? What you're really doing, you're going to take the function f and you're going to plug that function into itself. So there's a function here and you're going to plug that function into itself. So basically we're going to take the function and what you're going to do, you're going to plug that as x inside of itself, right? So therefore, that's going to be 2 minus 5, open brackets, 2 minus 5x. That's what you're doing. So in this case here, it's going to be 2 minus, so you're going to remove the brackets. So this is going to be minus 10 minus 5 multiplied by minus 5x. You're going to get plus 25x, right? And therefore, now they want the answer in the form a plus bx. So 2 minus 10 is going to give you minus 8 plus 25x, right? Right, so that takes care of question 4, right? Let me just pause for a sec here, right? So just to let you guys know, those of you writing exam in June 2024, right? My exam preparation for CSEC Maths, CSEC Add Maths, CSEC Physics, and CSEC Chemistry, they are in progress, right? My exam preparation usually lasts 4 months in order for my students to be ready for the exam, right? So if you are interested, right, you can send me a WhatsApp at this number here, right? If you're interested, if you are writing exam in June 2024, right? So next question here now. So this is question 5, I think it is. So the mass in kilograms of 120 newborns at a hospital is recorded in the table below. So we have mass and we have frequency. State the modal class. So your mode is the one that occurs most frequently. When you look at the data here, 30 is the highest frequency. So the modal class is actually 4.4. Right, and it goes up to what, 5.3 here. So 1 mark for identifying the modal class. That's it. Complete the table below and calculate an estimate of the mean, right? So in this case here, we need to calculate our midpoint because we have the frequencies here already, right? So let's see. Let me just double check something. 4.4 plus 5.3 divided by 2. Right. So we're going to take 5.3 plus 6.2. Right, and we're going to divide that by 2. So this is 5.75 here. Right, the next one is 7.1 plus 8 divided by 2. You're going to get 7.55. Right. Then we have to do some multiplication. You're taking the midpoint and you're multiplying by the frequency. So that's 5.75 multiplied by 29. And for this one here, it's going to be 166.75. And then 7.55 multiplied by 8. This is going to give me 60.4. Right? They want us to estimate the mean. Right? So mean, which is x bar, is equal to sigma xf over sigma x. Now, when you add up the frequencies, technically we should get 120 because it told us it's 120 newborns. So what we need to do, we need to add up this column here, right? This column here, we need to add this up. So that's going to be 21.35 plus 71.1 plus 145.5 plus 166.75 plus 186.2 plus 60.4, and this is going to be 651.3, right? So therefore the mean is going to be 651.3 divided by 120, and we want to estimate this here, so I'm going to put 5.43. Right, and this is the mass, so this is in kilograms, right? One newborn is selected at random from the hospital. Find the probability that the newborn has a mass greater than 5.3. So we go to the table. So greater than 5.3. Where is 5.3? So that means that if it's greater than 5.3, it's going to fall in this region here. So all you need to do, you need to add up these frequencies here. So that is going to be 29 plus 28 plus 8. You're going to get 65. So therefore, 65 babies have a mass greater than that. So that probability is going to be 65 over 120. You can leave your answer as a fraction, or you can reduce it if it can be reduced. So 65 over 120. Yeah, so you can give it as 13 over 24. Right? Or you can put it as a decimal if you want to. Next thing here now. So we want to complete the cumulative frequency table, right? Let's go back to the table here. So we have 7, right? And then when we added 18, we got 25. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to add 30. Right? So you get 55. So this is good. After we have 30, what we're going to add? We're going to add 29. So therefore, you're going to add 29 plus 55. So you're going to get 84. Right? Now we're going to add what comes next. Next thing is 28. So we're going to add 28 now. So that's 84 plus 28. You're going to get 112. Right? And then we have one more to add, which is 8. So when you add 8 to this, you're going to get 120. Right? So we know we're good. Right? We're good because our final cumulative frequency needs to be 120. Right? Now, what do we do with this now? Okay, so on the grid, they want us to draw a cumulative frequency curve, right? Let me bring this a little closer. Right, so this is the data that we're going to use in order for us to draw that cumulative frequency curve, right? So we have 3.5, we plotted that, you got 7, one second, I'm just looking at the points that they plotted here. 2, 4, 6. Well, based on what I'm seeing here, this point looks like it's plotted incorrectly, right? The 4.4, and that's 22, 24. So this point is, so the second point is plotted incorrectly, but the third one is okay. So this is not plotted correctly. This is plotted correctly. The next one is 5.3 against 55. So 5.3, this is 5, this is 5.1, 5.2, 5.3 against 55. That's going to be right here. Right? Next one is 6.2 against 84. So 6.1, 6.2 against 82, 84. That's here. And then we have 7.1 against 112. So 7.1 against 112, that's here, right? And then the last one is 8 against 120, so that is up here, right? So let's see how we're going to draw that curve. Now ideally what we need to do is to draw a smooth curve passing through these points. Let's going to try something here, right? If I draw this freehand, it's not going to look too good. Right, so that's my curve here. That's my cumulative frequency curve here, right? So remember, you have to draw a curve of best fit, right? So that's my curve there. And what am I going to do with that now? They want me to calculate something. Yes, they want me to estimate the median mass here now. So if you want to get a median, right, you look at your highest cumulative frequency. So we need to find half of 120, right? So you're going to get 60. Now some students, they tend to put 60 as the answer. It's not 60. All that does, it tells me I need to read off at 60, right? It tells me I need to read off at 60. So therefore, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use some lines in order to do that, right? You need to draw these lines in order to estimate that value here. So I'm just going to get right, so here's what we're going to do. So we're going to read off at 60. Right, now remember it's an estimate, so your answer may be a little different to my answer. Right, but it looks like I'm getting a value close to maybe 5.5 around there, so, right? So it's around 5.5, right? So your answer should be approximately around there as well, right? So this here is your median, right? So my median here is about 5.5 kilograms, right? So next question, question 6. The diagrams below shows a spherical bowl and a cylindrical tin. The diameter of the cylindrical tin is 12 and the height is 7 and the bowl has a radius of r, right? Now what do we want to do here? Show that the volume of the cylindrical tin is, okay, so volume, right, is given by pi r squared. H, right, for a cylinder. What are we taking pi as? 22 over 7. So this is 22 over 7 multiplied by the radius, which is what? I guess 14 or 12. 12 and 17. So this is 12 squared multiplied by 17. And when I work this out, so this is 22 over 7 multiplied by 144 multiplied by 17. Oh wait, hold up. Oh, right, so this here is 12, right? I didn't look at this properly here. That's 12, that's the diameter. So the radius has to be 6 here, right? So it's a good thing they told me what I need to prove it equal to, right? So this here should be 6 squared. Right, now we should get the correct answer. So this will be 22 over 7 multiplied by 36 multiplied by 17, right? And what I'm getting here is 1923.43 cm cube, right? But they said they want the answer to 4 significant figures, so therefore it's going to be 1923 cm cube, right? So I'm just using the formula for the volume of a cylinder to work that out. What else they have here now? So the bowl is completely filled with soup. All of the soup is poured into the empty cylindrical tin, and 90% of the volume of the tin is filled. Calculate the radius of the bowl. Now, what's happening here is this. You are taking the contents of this and you're going to pour that inside of here. Now, what they're telling us is this. That liquid is going to go inside here, right? And it's going to occupy a certain volume. But the volume that this is occupying is 90% of your total, right? That's what they say. So what you're going to do, you're going to say find 90%, right? Multiplied by the actual volume of the full cylinder, which is 1923. Right? So that is 0.9 multiplied by 1923, and you're going to get about 17 cm330.7 cm3, right? So that's the volume of the liquid inside of the cylinder, right? Now, let's see what they said here. All right, so they said the bowl was completely filled with soup, right? Now they're telling us that the volume of a sphere, right? Now a sphere is like a ball, right? But this bowl here is a hemisphere, right? It's half of a bowl, right? Sorry, half of a bowl. So in this case here, what we're gonna do? We want to work out the radius of the bowl, right? Now the volume of a full sphere is gonna be twice this amount, right? So what you could do, you could say, all right, let's take this and multiply by 2. So 1730.7. So this would be 3461.4 cm3. So that's the volume of a full sphere, right? So what you could do, you could say, all right, 4 over 3, right? Pi is 22 over 7, right? Multiplied by r cubed, and that should equal to 3461.4, right? So the reason why I multiply by 2 here is because this formula is the formula to find the volume of a whole sphere, right? So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to say r cubed, right, is equal to 3461.4 divided by 4 over 3 multiplied by 22 over 7. So r cubed is equal to right, this is equal to 826. So therefore r, if you want to figure out the radius, it's going to be the cube root of this. 826. So not square root, cube root. So this radius here is going to be about 9.38. Right? So that's going to be the radius of that bowl that they're talking about here. Part B now. We have, what do we have here? In the diagram below, we have L, M, and N, and they are on the circumference of a circle, a semicircle, sorry. And the radius, right, is 18. So here's what's happening here. So this is 18 cm. This is also 18 cm, right? And we want to work out the area of that shaded region here, right? Total area of the shaded sections, right? So all we need to do, right, we can find the area of the semicircle, right? You can find the area of the semicircle, and you can subtract the area of the triangle, right? That's all we need to do. Right? So let's work out the area of the semicircle. So the area of the semicircle, right? Because it's half a circle, it's going to be pi r squared over 2, right? So they told us to take pi as 22 over 7, so that's what we're going to do. 22 over 7 multiplied by the radius squared, so that's 18 squared, right? And you have to divide that by 2. So that's going to be the area of the entire semicircle. So that's going to be 22 over 7 multiplied by 18 squared divided by 2, right? So that's going to give us about 509.14 cm squared. So that's the area of the whole semicircle. So what I need to do now, I need to find the area of this triangle here, right? Now, if the radius of the circle is 18, it means that this height here of this triangle is also 18. So the area of the triangle, remember, area of a triangle is a half by base by height. So in this case here, it's going to be a half multiplied by the base, which is going to be 36. 18 plus 18, that's the base of the triangle, multiplied by the height, which is 18. So this is going to give me 324. So now I know the area of the semicircle, I know the area of the triangle, so therefore area of the shaded section right, is going to be equal to 509.14 minus 324 and you're going to get 185.14. Right? So that's the area of the shaded region. Right? Right, guys. So at this time, please hit like and subscribe. Right? So try to share my channel with as much people as you can. Right? A lot of people will benefit from the work that I've been doing for the past 10 years. All right? So let's move on to question 7 now. 7 should be the pattern question. Yep. Okay, so we have the first 3 shapes in a sequence, right, that form a pattern. So let's see what's happening here in the sequence here. Right, so if we study this pattern here, right, what you're going to notice is that as you jump from the first shape to the second shape, right, you've added another row of black counters here, and at the same time you've added a row of white as well. When we jump to the next one here, have we done that? Yes, we've added a next row here, and you've also added another row of white counters, right? Now they want us to complete this thing here, right? So therefore, let me use, should I use black? Yeah, I guess I could use black, right? So we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this is, so we're gonna go 1, 2. So I'm adding my next row of black here, right? I'm adding my next row of black here, right? But when you add the next row, you're adding a next black here and the next black here, right? That's what you're doing. And then when we do that now, we're gonna add some circles now, some white circles, right? So we have to add a next row. So let me go back here. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to add one more. So we should have 5 rows in total, 5 white rows in total. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to add a next one. Right? So we're going to come down here. Right? So this is what it should look like, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9 5s are 45. Let's see. Do we have 45? Yes. We have 45 white counters. So I think we're okay. Right? I think we're okay. So this is my shape 4. Right? Next thing we want here now. They said the number of white counters, right, W, and the number of black counters, B, right, and the total number of, right, so they have basically white, black, and total, right. We want to complete this table, right. So typically these are how these questions are. Now if we look at the pattern here for this row here, right, when you look at what's happening to the pattern, what should be here? This should be 4 plus 1 squared. So this is going to be 4 and 1 is 5, 5 squared is 25. So we should have 25 black counters. Let's go back here and check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 25. So we're good. So I know that the diagram is correct, right? Now we need to figure out the total number of counters. Well, all you need to do is add 45 plus 25. So that's going to give us what, 70, right? So that's it for that row here. Now, the next thing that we want to work out, so what I normally tell my students to do, work out this here first, right? If you work that out first, then you can work out anything in the question. So based on what we see in terms of the pattern, right, this should be n, right? This has to be a 1. What else we have inside here? We have 2 by 3. So that's going to be 2 by n. So this is 2n. Right, and this is going to be 1, right, and according to this side here we have this is going to be n plus 1 squared, right, and the total number of counters, all right, we're adding up those two here. right? So what I will do, I will work out what is the value of n for this here, right? I'm not going to use this quadratic here because that's going to make things complicated. So I'm going to say n plus 1 squared is 144, right? So n plus 1 is equal to the square root of 144, which is 12. So n is equal to 12 minus 1. So n is equal to 11. So therefore, I know that this should be 11 here, right? So if I want to work this out, this is going to be 11 plus 1, right? Multiplied by 2 by 11 plus 1. And that's going to give me, so that's 2 by 11 is 22. So that's 23. So that's 23 multiplied by 12. So this is going to be 276. Right, now let me just add 276 plus 144 and see what I get. 420, right? So we're good. So that's it. That's it for this particular table here, right? Now, the expression for the total number of counters, t is equal to w plus b, and the shape S is given by this thing here, right? Where a and b are both positive integers. By substituting the values for S, show that the total number of counters in shape 1 and shape 3 in terms of A and B is represented by this equation here. Now let's see what are they really asking me here, right? Alright, so this is our formula here for the total number of counters. 3n squared plus 5n plus 2. So total is given by 3n squared plus 5n plus 2. 3n squared plus 5n plus 2. Now let's see what they're saying here. So now they're telling us that it is given by this formula here. A s squared plus b s plus 2, right? Right, so basically, if we compare these two equations here, we can say that A is equal to 3 and B in this case is equal to 5. Now they said by substituting suitable values of S, right, show that the total number of counters in the shape. Okay, so for shape 1, right, okay, so here's what I will do here, right? So we know that if we use A and B, so that's now, this is going to be, so shape 1. So S is equal to 1, right? So the total number of counters will be A by 1 squared plus B by 1 plus 2. So this is going to be A plus B right, A plus B plus 2, right? Now the thing is, that's the total number of counters, right? But according to the table, let's go back to the table here and see what we have here. So according to the table, for figure 1, you actually have 10 counters. So therefore, you're going to put, so you have 10 counters. So therefore, what we have here is A plus B plus 2 is equal to 10. So therefore, A plus B is equal to 10 minus 2. So A plus B is equal to 8. Right, okay, so now I understand what they're saying here. So this one here, A plus B is equal to 8, right? Now we have to do the same thing, but we have to substitute shape 3 now, right? So if I substitute in shape 3, this is going to be T is equal to A by 3 squared plus B by 3 plus 2, right? And let's see, according to our figure here, that's equal to 24, right? So that is equal to 24, right? So this is going to be 3 3s are 9A plus 3b, right, is equal to am I missing something? 2 to the 9, 3b Oh, I now see my error here, right? It's not 24. We're talking about figure, the third figure. So this is not 24, right? This is not 24. Okay, now this makes more sense to me now. It is 44, right? According to the table, it's 44. We're looking at figure 3, not figure 2, right? So my bad. It is this here. So you're going to put that equal to 44, right? So therefore 9a plus 3b is equal to 42, right? So if you notice what you want to get this equation here. So if I divide everything by 3, you're going to get 3a plus b, right, is equal to 42 divided by 3. You're going to get 14, right? You're going to get 14. So we basically, we've gotten what they wanted. A plus b is equal to 8, and we also have this 3a plus b is equal to 14. So that's question 7 in this paper here, right? Let's move on to question 8, which is on what here now? Right, you have a diagram here. We have two lines. We have G and H, right? And they are perpendicular. They're telling us they are perpendicular. Determine equation that represents the line G. How are we doing G now? Right, so the line G is this one here, right? So what we're gonna do, right? This coordinate here is gonna be minus 6, 0, right? This coordinate here is actually 0, 3, right? That's for the line G. So it's cutting at those 2 points there, or passing through those 2 points. So if you want to work out, you already know the y-intercept. This is the y-intercept here, right? So we don't need to work that out. All we need to do is to work out the gradient of the line. So one point is minus 6, 0, and the other one is 0, 3. So 0, 3, and the next one is minus 6, 0. What I normally tell my students to do is to label the points. So x1, y1, x2, y2, right? So your gradient of any straight line is given by this formula. M is equal to y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1, right? So in this case here, y2 is 0. So this is 0 minus 3 over minus 6 minus 0. So this is going to give me 0 minus 3 is minus 3. Minus 6 minus 0 is minus 6. So therefore, this gradient here is a half, right? So the equation of G is given by this. Y is equal to, we know the gradient is a half, so it's a half x plus the y-intercept. The y-intercept was 3, so this is my equation here. And you want to get equation of H. So we know that H is passing through the point 4, 0, right? Now, if this gradient here is a half, right, it means that this gradient of H has to be minus 2. Because if you all remember, when you take the gradient of two perpendicular lines and you multiply them, you should get minus 1, right? So the only way that can happen is if the gradient of this is minus 2, right? So M for this line here is going to be minus 2. So therefore, this equation is given by y is equal to minus 2x plus c. So we need to figure out c. To figure out c, what we're going to do, we're going to use this coordinate here to do that. That coordinate is 4, 0, because you know the line passes through the point 4, 0, right? So that means as x is 4 and y is 0. So therefore 0 is equal to minus 2 by 4 plus c. So 0 is equal to minus 8 plus c. So therefore c is equal to 8. So therefore the equation we're looking for, so the equation of H is given by y is equal to minus 2x plus 8. That's it. Next thing we want to figure out the coordinates of P. Well, if you want to get the coordinates of P here, you have to solve a simultaneous equation, right? So we already had one simultaneous equation in question 2 already. Now they have a next one. So the equations were y is equal to half x plus 3. The second equation is y is equal to minus 2x plus 8. Right? Those are my equations, I believe. Yeah. So those are the two equations, right? So since both of them are equal to y, you can say a half x plus 3 is equal to minus 2x plus 8, right? I don't like to work in fractions, so I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So this is going to become x plus 6 is equal to minus 4 plus 16. So carry this out. This is minus 4x, right? Carry all your x's to one side. So this is x plus 4x is equal to 16 minus 6. So 5x is equal to 10. So therefore x is equal to 10 over 5. So x is equal to 2, right? So we figured out what x is. Now you need to figure out y. So you can plug that into any one of these equations here. So if you plug it in the first equation, it's going to be y is equal to a half multiplied by 2 plus 3. Half of 2 is 1 plus 3. And you're going to get 4. So they want you to find the coordinates of P. So therefore, this is going to be 2, 4. Right? Those are the coordinates of. Right? So we're moving on to question 9. Right? Again, guys, please hit like and subscribe. Right? So this is a circle geometry question. This comes in almost every exam. All right, so we have some words basically saying what's on the diagram. So let's see what they want us to work out. You want to work out angle KOL. What is KOL? Right? Look at the diagram carefully, and from the diagram you have to decide where is KOL. So KOL is this angle here. That's what we want. Right? That's KOL. Now, how do we get that? So let's see. Is xy a tangent? Yes, xy is a tangent, so that's going to help us. So this line here, this point here, right, and this here, that's a radius. So the angle between a radius and a tangent is 90 degrees, right? What is that? How does that help us? So basically, we can calculate this angle here, right? So that angle there, so let me just work that out for you. That's going to be 90 minus 48, right? So that angle is going to be 42, right? So that angle is 42. Now the thing is, this triangle here, K, O, and L, right? Because you have a radius on either side, that triangle there is an isosceles triangle. So therefore, this angle here also has to be 42. So that means I can work out that angle, which is KOL, right? I can work out KOL for them. So KOL, right, that's this angle here, is simply going to be 180 minus 42 plus 42, right? So that's 180 minus 42 by 2, right? And that's going to be 96 degrees, right? So that's my angle there. That makes sense, right? Now they want reasons and all of that. So that's basically what I said there. The angle between the radius and the tangent is a 90 degree. So we have to take the 90 minus the 48. So you're going to get one of the angles in the isosceles triangle. Then you're going to be able to work out KOL, right? So I'm not going to go in all the details here, but that's how we find KOL. We want angle LMN. Where is LMN? So LMN is this angle here. That's what we want to work out. We want to work out that green angle, right? Now, how do we do that? Well, if we look carefully, you're going to realize that there's a cyclic quadrilateral inside here, right? So if I know this whole angle here, I could work out LMN, right? Now, this green angle here, right, is easy to find. That's going to be 180 minus the 56 plus the 48, right? So that's going to give me 180 minus, open brackets, 56 plus 48. That's going to be 76 degrees, right? So that angle there is 76 degrees. So therefore, I can work out this angle here now, right? Opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary, meaning that they add up to 180. So therefore, angle LMN is simply going to be 180 degrees minus 76, right? And you're going to get 104 degrees, right? So that's angle LMN. And the next angle we want is KLO. Where is KLO? Well, KLO is this angle. We already worked this out, right? So KLO is actually 42 degrees. We had worked that out already, so we're good to go, right? Right, KOL, KLO, right? Oh, we still have more angles here. MLK. Let's go back to the diagram here. MLK. All right, so here's what's happening here. So if this angle here at the center is 96, right, I can actually work out this angle here. So there's a rule that says, no, wait, hold on. Can I work out that? No, hold on a sec. Hold on. We want to get KLM. Oh, make sure I'm seeing this correct, yeah? Right, so here's how we're going to do this, right? This angle here, this blue angle here was 96, right? So that means that, now this is an angle at the center. Now if I look at the chord KL, right, I can work out, okay, so the diagram getting a little cluttered now, right? But this angle here, right, is going to be twice whatever this angle is here, right? So this angle here, which is LMK, right, is going to be a half multiplied by whatever the angle at the center was, which was 96, right? So that's 0.5 by 96. So this here is 48 degrees, right? So I know what this angle is here, right? I can also work out, I can get this small angle here as well, right? I can get a small angle here. So this small angle here, right, is actually, make sure I'm saying this correct, eh? It's going to be 90 minus 48 plus 12. So that's going to be 30 degrees, right? So now I have, now remember what we're trying to do here, we're trying to work out this here. MLK is what we're trying to work out. So MLK, right, is going to be 180 degrees. That's the whole triangle. Minus, you're going to have to minus the 30 degrees plus the 48. Right, so this here is 102 degrees. Right, so that's MLK. So this is the first time they've asked a question where we had to find so many angles, right? MLK, that's this. And then the last angle here is KNM. KNM, where is that now? K. Oh, well, okay. So K and M is going to be relatively easy, right? K and M is easy because MLK, right? These two angles here, this angle here and this angle here, right? They form part of the cyclic quadrilateral. So therefore, what's the name? I'm just trying to make sure I'm using the correct name of the angle. K and M. So K and M, yeah. So K and M is equal to 180 minus 102. And you're going to get 78 degrees, right? So hopefully those angles are correct, right? Hopefully, right? So that's part A, circle geometry. The next one here now, what do we have here? So we have E, F, G, H are 4 points on level ground. Okay. The diagram below gives the information about the distances. So we have these points on level ground here. And what do we want to work out? They said, show that the value of X is 29 degrees, correct, 29.5, correct to 1 decimal place. So all right, so you want to work out this angle here, right? Now, the only thing we have this length, we have this length here, and we have this length here. Anytime you have all three sides of a triangle that is not a right angle triangle, we're going to use the cosine rule, right? So the side opposite the angle here is 6.9. So here's what we're going to do. So using the cosine rule, right? The side opposite the angle squared, which is 6.9. So this is 6.9 squared is equal to the square of the other two sides. So that's 5.3 squared plus 11 squared. 5.3 squared plus 11 squared minus, open brackets, 2 by 5.3 by 11 by cosine angle X, right? So that's a formula that we're going to be using. That's the cosine rule here. So 6.9 squared, that's 47.61. 5.3 squared, that's 28.09. 11 squared is 121 minus 2 by 5.3 multiplied by 11, that's 116.6. 116.6 cosine X, right? So carry the cosine on the left side. So this becomes 116.6 cosine X is equal to 28.09 plus 121 minus 47.61, right? So therefore 116.6 cosine X is equal to, so 28.09 plus 121 minus 47.61, and you're going to get 101.48. So therefore cosine X is equal to 101.48 divided by 116.6. So therefore X is equal to arc cos, which is 101.48 divided by 116.6. So therefore X is equal to, there's a lot of work for 2 marks, divided by 116.6. Right? And when I work this out, I am getting 29.5 degrees. Right? So that's plenty work here to use the cosine rule. What else they want me to work out now? A vertical tower, GT, is constructed at the point G and pivoted to the ground with the points E, F, and H using pieces of wire. The angle of elevation of the top of the tower T from F. So the tower is placed here. It's a vertical tower. We're watching from the top here, right? And we're looking at the point F, right? So let's see what they're saying here. So you have the tower, right? So this is G, this is the tower here, and this is T, and you have a point F here. So this is F here, and they're telling me that the angle of elevation, right? Angle of elevation at the top of the tower T from F is 31. So this here is 31 degrees, right? The length of the wire used to secure the point T to F. So they want to know this distance here, right? Now, do we know GF? I think we know. Yeah, GF is 6.9. So this here is 6.9. I assume is meters. Is it? Yeah, meters. Right? So this is 6.9 meters here. So in this question here, you need to figure out what is your opposite, what is your adjacent before you do anything. So this here is your opposite, right? This here is your hypotenuse. So that's what you want to find. And therefore what you're left with here is your adjacent. So if we look at Toa, right? Now you have hypotenuse, you want to find hypotenuse, and you have adjacent. So hypotenuse and adjacent, therefore we're going to use cosine, right? So in this case here, we're going to say cosine theta, right, is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, right? So cosine 31 degrees is equal to 6.9 over your hypotenuse, right? Now, if you want to solve for the hypotenuse, we're going to cross multiply. So you're going to say this by this is equal to that by that. So hypotenuse multiplied by cosine 31 is equal to 6.9. So therefore, your hypotenuse, which is the length of the wire we're trying to work out here, is going to be 6.9 over cosine 31. So therefore, your hypotenuse is equal to 6.9 divided by cosine 31. And I'm getting about maybe 8.05 meters. Right? That's the length of the wire that we need here. Oh, we have more questions here. The bearing of E from H is 228. The bearing of E from H is 228. The bearing of E from H is 228. So that means that this whole angle here, right, is 228. That's what they're trying to say here. That whole angle there is 228, right? And you already know that that angle X is 29.5, right? That might be important. I'm not sure as yet. This angle here is 29.5 degrees, right? Now let me see what they're asking us for now. They want to know the bearing of H from E. Right, so the bearing of H from E is this angle here, right? That's the angle that we want to get here. Now, what I would do in a scenario like this, right? I'm going to make use of the fact that our north lines are parallel. So if that's 228, I can actually work out this angle here, right? This angle here is going to be 360 minus 228. You're going to get 132, right? Now, this angle here and this angle here, which we want to find, those are co-interior angles. They should add up to 180. So that bearing they're talking about there, right? That bearing is simply going to be 180 minus 132, right? So this is just going to be 180 minus 132, and that's going to give you the answer they're looking for. 180 minus 132, and you're going to get 48 degrees. That's your bearing. right? And the next one they want the bearing of G from each. So the bearing of G that's here from each, right? So the angle they're looking for is this angle here, right? Now, how we get to that angle? Oh, well, that's going to be easy. All we need to do, this is 132. This here is 54. So it's going to be, you're going to add up those two angles and subtract it from 360. So it's going to be 360 minus, you need to remove the 132 and you need to remove the 132 and the 54. So this is 174 degrees, right? All right, so moving on to the last question now, question 10, right? If students happen to make it this far in the exam. All right, so they give us a diagram here, right? O is the origin, OE is 2 times EF, right? So this is important here, right? So that means that if OE is 2 times, it means that I could divide this line into 3 equal parts, right? The point M is a midpoint. Okay, so I have all the information here. Where is OG? So OG is given by C and OF is given by D, right? OF is given by D. Now, let's see what they want us. So they want FG. Where is FG? So FG is this vector here. So FG is FO plus OG. FO plus OG. All right, that's what they want. So FO, you're going in the opposite direction. So therefore, that's going to be minus D plus C. So this is minus D plus C, right? Then EG now. Where is EG? Right, so EG is equal to EO plus OG. Now, what is the vector EO? So EO is actually negative 2/3 D. Yep. So this is negative 2/3 D plus OG, which we know is C. Right? What else we have here now? You want OM. So OM is this vector here, right? So did we work out EG before? Oh yeah, we did. Okay, so we have EG, right? We have EG. Let me see something. Yeah, we do have the vector EG, so we're gonna have to make use of that. Yeah. So you want OM. All right. So OM, right, is equal to OG, or actually you could go OE plus EM. OE plus EM, right? Now OE is 2/3 of D right? That's OE plus EM. Now, EM is this little piece here, so that's a half of EG. So this is going to be a half multiplied by the vector EG, which we had worked out previously. So EG was minus 2/3 D plus C. Right? So we need to simplify this. So this is going to be 2/3 D, right? This is going to be minus 1/3 D plus C, right? So 2/3 minus 1/3 is 1/3. So this is going to be 1/3 D plus C, right? So that's OM. Right, so now what we have here, P plus Q is equal to R. We have three matrices. So P plus Q is equal to R. So P in this case is 3 minus 9, E 7 plus Q, which is minus 1, B minus 4, 1, and R is given by C minus 3 minus 4, 8, right? And we have to figure out what each of these things, what is A, B, and C. So if we look at this position here, you're adding, right? So we can say that A plus minus 4 has to be equal to minus 4, right? According to what we have there. Is it P plus Q equal R? Yeah. So therefore A is equal to minus 4 plus 4. So therefore A has to be equal to 0, right? So that's one of them we worked out already. When we're looking at B now, we're going to say this here, minus 9 plus B has to be equal to minus 3. So minus 9 plus B is equal to minus 3. So B is equal to minus 3 plus 9. So therefore B is equal to 6, right? Yeah. And the last one, to work out C now, we're going to look at this number, and this number here. So that is going to be 3 plus minus 1 is equal to C. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So therefore C is equal to 2, right? So 3 marks just for working that part out. And part C, which I believe is the last question on the paper, we want to solve this using a matrix method. So the first thing we need to do is to write this in a matrix format. So we look at the coefficients. So you're going to have 5, 2, minus 2, 3. You're going to multiply that by x, y. And on the right hand side, you're going to have 44 and you're going to have 10, right? Now, what is of interest to us here is this matrix here. We need to find the inverse of that matrix, right? So let's call that matrix M. And this is 5 minus 2, 2, 3, right? So the determinant of this matrix is going to be 5 multiplied by 3 minus 2 multiplied by 2. So this is 15 minus 4. So that's what, 19, right? So the inverse of this matrix is given by 1 over 19, and you have to multiply it by the determinant, sorry, the adjoint of the matrix, right? And this is going to be 3 here, this is going to be 5 here, this is going to be 2, and this is going to be minus 2. So that's your inverse of the matrix, right? So what you're going to do, you're going to multiply both sides of the equation by the inverse. So you're going to put 1 over 19, 3, 2, minus 2, 5, multiplied by 5 minus 2, 2, 3, x, y. Do the same thing on the right hand side. So this is going to be 1 over 19 by 3, 2, minus 2, 5, right? And this is 44, 10, right? Now, when you multiply a matrix by its inverse, you're going to get the identity matrix. And when you multiply anything by the identity matrix, you're going to get the same matrix. So on the left hand side, you're going to just end up with xy. We have 1 over 19 here, right? And what we have to do, we have to multiply the 2 by 2 matrix by the 2 by 1. So when I do that, that's going to be 3 by 44 plus 20. So this is 152 here. And the next one is going to be minus 88 plus 50. You're going to get 38. Sorry, you're going to get minus 38. So therefore, xy is going to be 152 divided by 19. You're going to get 8. And then 38 divided by 19, you're going to get 2. So this is minus 2 here, right? So therefore, the answers are going to be x is equal to 8, y is equal to minus 2, right? So this brings us to the end of the solutions to the January 2024 exam paper, right? If you see any errors, feel free to let me know, right? And like I said, my exam preparation for CSEC Maths, CSEC Add Maths, CSEC Physics, and CSEC Chemistry, those are in progress from now until May, right? All right, guys, so this is Terry David here, right? Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, guys. Take care.